Ever since the start of 2020s, popular webtoons like Tower of God, Noblesse, and God of High School, as well as popular games such as Cyberpunk and League of Legends have been dropping animation adaptations left and right. Gone are the days when anime adaptations were limited to manga series. Now all you need is to be popular, and you'll get an animation adaptation. But to be fair, such collaborations have been around for a long time. They were just not popular enough for the anime community at large. One such example is Chou's Sekai, being the reality. Based on a Chinese manhwa, it is a Chinese-Japanese animated series that aired in early 2017. That's 6 years ago, and I know for a fact that this is the first time you're hearing about this series. Drop a comment down below if I'm wrong. It's one of the thousands of anime that most anime fans will never even hear about in their lifetime as anime fans, but is it good? Well, let's see what we have. You can then decide for yourself if you want to check it out or not. The story begins with a short clip where a young boy is in a bus together with his mother. He looks through the window. What he sees is a massive monster. It bears a striking resemblance to one of those OG legendary Pokemons, like Dialga or Palkia. The design isn't nearly as refined as those Pokemons though, maybe because of the low production budget. Anyway, it pops up in the distance and starts destroying buildings right away. Of course, the young boy is scared. He is perplexed. A bunch of giant boulders drop in front of the bus he was boarding, and the confusion causes him to wake up. That's right, what he saw just now was a dream, or was it a memory from the distant past? He panics because he's getting late for school. His name is Noii, and he basically just lives alone in his big house because his father is always away for work. This means he doesn't have anyone to boss him around, but it also means that he has to take care of everything all by himself. Then while he boards the train and is on his way to school, he looks through the window and sees the same kind of buildings as the ones in the dream, without the monster of course. Once at school, he is greeted by his buddy, Haki, who was playing the new game called Blade & Saber. Noii gets excited, takes the game from him and starts playing. Apparently, the game hasn't been released to the general public yet. The only reason Haki was about to get it is because her uncle is one of the developers. The two of them were getting excited all by themselves when a blue-haired beauty named Cass shows up and snatches the game. She tells them that they'll be late for class if they keep standing in the hallway, and yes, she is right. Hearing her, Noii starts walking towards the class, all the while fantasizing about the game. He wasn't really paying attention to where he was going and ends up bumping into an extraordinarily beautiful girl named Motis. He instinctively apologizes but then gets stunned by her beauty. His friend Haki compliments her beauty, while Cass seems rather jealous, if you will. Now, this beauty seems like a big deal because she has two companions together with her, two big sturdy dudes who address her as Madam. This awkwardness seemed like it could continue, but an emergency alarm goes off which catches everyone off guard. The announcement suggests that it is a level 5 threat and that everyone should evacuate to safety immediately. Noii ignores it and starts straight to run to the roof. His friend Haki and Cass have no choice but to follow. It is another one of those creatures that we talked about before, but this one seems equipped. He can even fire bazookas. Noii is still at a safe distance away, but enjoying the destruction, but then the monster decides to send a bazooka his way. Suddenly, it isn't so pleasant, is it? Thankfully, just when the bazooka is about to kill them, a barrier appears right in front and protects them from the attack. It's the photon barrier. Subsequently, it seems that a team has arrived to take care of this monster. Noii himself states that Saber has arrived. They overwhelm the monster with a stupid number of snipers. It's super effective. From the moment they had arrived until the instance where the monster was defeated, all it took them was 1 minute. Noii is exhilarated. He declares that he'll be a Blade & Saber too, one day, and the three of them return to class. The teacher seems to scold him, and the beauty from before is standing right next to her. The three of them apologize and go to their seats. The new girl is then introduced as Motis, and then the teacher tells her to take a seat as well. Quite conveniently for our protagonist, she sits right next to him. But then again, his friend Cass doesn't like this development. Later, when the school day is over, Noii and Cass are walking together. Cass notices a couple of cats, get infatuated, and decides to take a few pictures. Though, when she turns around to show them to Noii, he's no longer there. He is seen approaching Motis and making things awkward. I mean, he's terrible at small talk, but he already knows that. So he excuses himself and tries to leave, but she tells him to wait. And then, right as Cass enters the scene, Motis tells Noii to please go out with her. Yep, the daily adventures of misunderstandings have already begun. Cass is emotionally overwhelmed. It's clear that she has feelings for Noii, but now she sees another girl seemingly confessing to the man she likes. She drops her phone and runs away. As for Motis, she then apologizes with a poker face and walks away. Even I don't understand what's going on, so at least in this case, I felt a little sympathetic for the protagonist. He then picks up Cass's phone, finds her, and gives it back. He had already looked at the cat photos, in case you're wondering. For some reason, Cass is more straightforward than she looks. She may have run away earlier, but now that he was right in front of her, she has a quick flashback of the time when Noii saved her from bullies, and so she feels ready to say something, and she was going to say it, but then a monster pops up from the swimming pool in front of them. This is where the first episode ends, and in the next one, Motis shows up dressed in a Power Rangers costume and ready to save Noii and Cass from this monster. By this point, you've probably had a taste of how random and simple this story is. Characters are simple, and the emotional drama is straightforward, which is fine because this is not a romance anime. No, this is an adventure fantasy that tells us the story of a few unusual teenagers who begin their battles in a world where it is nearly impossible to distinguish between what's real and what simply is a game. Remember how Hockey showed Noii a game? It was called Blade and Saber, and then later the team appeared to protect everyone from the monster. It was to portray the idea that the real world and the game world are happening simultaneously. It is an interesting idea, and things do get answered the further along you are in the story. So if the premise itself interests you, that's enough reason to give it a shot. The animation can be a little rough though, and it really is hard to find this series in good quality online. So good luck with that. But as far as the designs of the female characters are concerned, the anime makes sure to deliver. All in all, it is neither deep nor complex. Just some simple yet uncanny teenagers and their action-filled days as they try to navigate through this world where reality and the game are happening at the same time. Now, what do you guys think? It's definitely not some underrated masterpiece or a revolutionary work of art, and I don't think you're missing out if you don't watch it. But if you like the premise, I'd say there's entertainment to be had. Still, share your thoughts in the comments section down below, and feel free to also drop any other anime that you want us to cover. I'll go through your suggestions and even tag you when I get to the anime you suggested. A sincere like and subscribe can go a long way for your karma, just saying. Very well then, with that said, I'll see you guys in my next video.